Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Time to take that walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. This should be a treat, I'm hoping. It does have a lot of sediment in the bottom of the bottle. I don't think it's old. I've checked Rate Beer and Beer Advocate, and the oldest ratings they have is in August of this year, and we're just into October, so it's only a couple months. But it does have about a quarter of an inch of sediment in the bottom of the bottle, so I don't know what's up with that. Not used to seeing Ballast Point having sediment in their beers unless they're old, and I don't think this is. This is, and it's actually got this little tag on it, and it gives you, it's an English style India Pale Ale IPA, and it tells you everything if you want to brew it yourself right here on this tag, what they used and what you can use to brew it yourself. So very nice. It's called the Home Brew Mart series, and this is number 3. The Homework series, batch number 3, English style India Pale Ale by Ballast Point. Dedicated to the craft is what it says on the very top of the beer. And I don't know if it has a date on it. It's got a lot of condensation on the bottle just coming out of the fridge here. And I got this from Servall Liquors or craftcity.com on the internet, and don't think they would have shipped me an old beer. I'm not sure of that, but I'm pretty sure Donovan would have sent me the freshest bottle he had. And like I said, I really don't think it's an old beer. I think it just came out in August, evidently, because that's the first ratings on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate. And as a matter of fact, Rate Beer don't even have a rating of it. So it says it requires more ratings for them to list a rating of it. But, you know, it is what it is. Just unusual for the style to have sediment in it unless it's old, and I don't think this one is. So we're going to find out here in just a minute or two. Commercial description on this one says the recipe for this English IPA was pulled from the archives. It was the very first IPA ever brewed by Ballast Point. Willamette hops from the Putterball Farms contributes a grassy cantaloupe aroma. This beer has a nice deep gold appearance with a soft mouthfeel from residual sugars left by the English ale yeast. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's, I don't know. In Hefeweizen and wheat beers and stuff, you'll have that sediment and stuff in there, and a lot of home brewers have sediment in bottom bottles. I don't have it in mine, but because I use a primary fermentation and rack it into a carboy secondary, and all that falls out of it before it's put into the keg or the bottle. But we're going to find out here on this one. This is a 6.5% ABV, and it says the IBUs are 53 on this one, so it shouldn't be on the extremely bitter side like a lot of the American IPAs are, this being an English IPA. And usually they're a little more subdued, but they're usually a little less alcohol than what this one is at 6.5%. So the food pairings for this cuisine is curried in the Indian. Cheeses are nutty, Asiago, Colby, Parmesan, sharp blue cheddar, and the meat is shellfish. Glassware, pint, becker, night, tumbler, mug, stein, and Sidell. I'm going to use a double glass for this one, guys. And not recommended for extended cellaring. So let's get the cap off of this one. And hopefully it's not continued to ferment and it's going to spew all over the place, having all that. I don't know if that's yeast in the bottom of it or what exactly is in the bottom of the bottle. It's got a very nice hiss. Doesn't seem to be rushing out of the bottle, which is a good thing. And I'm only going to pour about a half a glass of this. And it is, yeah, orange, tangerine, almost a pumpkin color. With that pour, we got about a finger of head, a lot of bubbles trimming up from the bottom of the glass. Looks pretty good. Let's get a nose on it. First beer of the day. I'm kind of thirsty. Well, it does have a very nice hop profile. Wow, oranges, grapefruit, a little tangerine. It does have some maltiness to it. A lot of the English IPAs are not like the American IPAs. It's just hops, 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 or hops and more hops, or it's just overpowering with the hops. A lot of theirs are a little lower in the ABV and have a little more maltiness to them too. But this one smells pretty good. It almost smells like an American IPA. But with 53 IBUs, it shouldn't be very bitter. But I am getting a little bit of maltiness to this one. But it's got a nice citrusy, floral, hot presence to it too. Maybe a little fruitiness in there too. Well, let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Donovan. Yep. Almost, to me, it's got a large hop profile, but with the low IBUs of 53, it almost is like a pale, like a hoppy pale. Very, very easy drinking. But the hops are not over the top like a lot of American IPAs are, like a hop slam or a heady topper or even Stone Enjoy Bias. And of course, it's not an imperial or a double IPA, but a lot of them are just over the top in the hops, which I like. Being a hophead, I do like that, but it seems like everybody wants to top each other with the amount of hops and how hoppy the beer can be. So this one's very easy drinking, and it's not over the top hops. Very sessionable for a 6.5%er. Very well made beer. As you can tell, I'm pretty thirsty. I'm about to sit here and drink it all right in front of you. Very nice, very pleasant. Very smooth. Very nice mouthfeel. Doesn't have a bitter back end whatsoever. Nice and sweet up front, with just enough bitterness on the back end. But like I said, I mean, I've had pale ales were just as hoppy or hoppier than this. But this seems to be pretty nice. So it's right out of the fridge. We're going to see if we can find a date on the bottle once the condensation goes away. Let her taste it, and we'll come back and do the final chug like we always do. Alright guys, I'm back. I just a little left here. When I poured the other half into the glass for the other half, it was considerably more cloudy with the sediment that was in the bottom of the bottle. So I don't know what the sediment is for a beer that has been recently released. I double checked the bottle and there is no date on it. Ballast Point is a big enough brewery that can date their beers. So not exactly thrilled that they have not chosen to date this beer. I know Ballast Point is pretty tasty beers. Usually the Sculpin and just about everything that I've had from them has been pretty tasty. But they need to date their bottles. Especially on a bomber like this, they need to go ahead and put a date either on the label or something on the bottle. This has nothing. And that's going to cost them a grade point too. So they need to date their stuff. I mean, they're a big enough brewery they can date their stuff. They choose not to extend shelf life. And that concerns me. I know this is a fresh bottle, but why is all the sediment in a fresh bottle like that? So not a big fan of that, especially for this style of beer. Now, if it had been a Hefeweizen or a wheat beer or something that's bottle conditioned or something in that line where it's going to continue to ferment in the bottle or the yeast and stuff is supposed to be in there. But for an English style IPA that's a fairly fresh bottle, that should not be in there. Just my opinion now, guys. I may be ignorant on this. Of course, I've been brewing for about 5 years now, and I don't have that stuff in the bottom of my bottles. Of course, I don't bottle a lot now. Everything's put in kegs. But for something fresh, you shouldn't have that stuff in there. Just my opinion now. Let's do the final chug on this one. Very easy drinking, like I said. 6.5%, not getting any alcohol. Very well made beer in that aspect. But it doesn't have a date on it. I would, if it had a date on it, I would probably give it the 8, which is an A minus, but it has no date. So I'm going to give it to 7, which is the B plus. Kind of disappointed in those guys that they chose not to date this beer. They can. They're big enough. They can, and they did not. So that's my opinion on this. Very nice English style IPA. Very tasty. A lot of tropical fruit notes. Very citrusy. Not bitter whatsoever. Kind of reminded me of a hoppy pale ale in American style, but very nice. It was an enjoyable beer. So, with that being said, like I told you guys, Rate Beer has no ratings on this, and Beer Advocate comes up with an 85. If I was putting a numeric rating on it with a bottle with no date on it, knowing that it's a fresh bottle, the earliest review on this was in August, so I'm pretty damn sure that this is a fresh bottle. So I don't understand what all the sediment was in the bottom of the bottle for this style of beer. But anyway, that's what I'm giving it. I'm going with the 7, which is a B plus. Numeric rating for me would probably be an 87 or an 88 with no date on the bottle. So if you've had this one from Ballast Point, this is their Home Work Series batch number 3. And on the side note here, for the workaholic and all of us, before Ballast Point there was Homebrew Mart, a place to go for brewing ingredients and equipment, or just talk about good beer and how to make it. It's where we spent our days experimenting, tasting, and refining endlessly. Those early beers earned enough of a following for us to launch our own brewery, and the rest, as I say, is history. Well, it'd be great if it had a date on it. I mean, that's my biggest beef on this style of beer. For an IPA, not to have a date on it is taboo in this day and age, especially for a brewery as big as Ballast Point. So that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. If you have this one, the Homework Series 3 English style IPA, let me know what you think. And let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow, guys. See you then.